friends. Today I have a chatty get ready with me, and I'm getting ready in a hotel room, if you can tell. I am currently in Snoqualmie Falls, Washington. It is just outside of the Seattle area. By just outside, I think it was like a 45-minute drive, I want to say. But I'm just going to be doing a little get ready with me. I typically do a get ready with me every single Friday, and I ended up extending my trip here a little bit longer because it has been so beautiful, so peaceful. I feel like I've been getting so much work done that I ended up staying a little bit longer than I expected. So I was like, oh gosh, I don't have a get ready with me for Friday. So we're gonna get ready in this hotel room. So I am going to be using the new Singe Beauty palette. I've done a look on YouTube with this palette as well, but I'm going to be using that one today. I'm going to be doing my bright blush like I have been loving to do, but I have my makeup bag here that I packed up with me. This is also from Singe Beauty, and I love it because it really fits so much stuff. Like, I even have my fragrance in here, which is a Phlur father figure. But I'm just going to be getting ready. I'm actually leaving today, so this is going to be my airport makeup, which normally I wouldn't wear a ton of makeup on an airport day, but my flight is not until 5 o'clock. We're going to check out of here at about noon, head back into Seattle, go to a few places before going back to Las Vegas. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come out here was because I am finishing up my 10th book, which I'm very excited about. My 10th book is called The Sixth Nora. So if you didn't know, because I actually just posted a video recently on my Instagram, and it was just my like a day in a life as an author, and it kind of went through like what a writing day looks like for me and that sort of thing. And one of the main comments that I got was, oh, I didn't know you were an author. And I was like, oh. And then even later, like a couple days after I posted that video, I went to a restaurant in Vegas and I ran into a couple people that I knew, and the girl immediately goes, I didn't know you were a writer. That's so cool. I was like, yeah. I'm not sure why. I think around one of my book releases several years ago, I obviously was talking about my book release a lot. You know, it was coming up. I was very excited about it. It's a lot of work to put out a book and all the things. And I just kept getting so much like hate on the internet, and people being like, take a drink every time she says she's an author and all these things. And it's like, that's what I do. And I think over the years, I've for sure learned that I'm someone who like takes the online comments pretty deeply. So when I kept seeing people like essentially like making fun of me or talking down on me or just saying that I'm annoying for saying that I'm an author and I have a book coming out, like after that time, I stopped talking about it as much online. And especially I think because I have always been more of a beauty channel since, you know, 2016, I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about books, because when I started YouTube, I actually started as a book channel. But when I decided to rebrand within a year because my beauty videos would do a little bit better than my book videos. And I was like, well, maybe since I'm a beauty channel, like I just shouldn't talk about books at all. And I really stopped, and I especially stopped talking about my own books. And it's something that I don't feel like I share enough about. And I think it's a reminder too to some people of like, just because you see someone post something online doesn't mean that like everyone is seeing that, especially in today's day of age. Like, there is so many content creators, there's so much content being put out, like not everybody can see everything. So maybe one person constantly says the name of their dog, maybe one person constantly says where they live, maybe one person constantly says what else they do besides social media. But that is because typically people are watching our videos or finding our channels that don't know us at all. You know, I have so many people that when I mention something about like having a dog, like I will get comments of people saying like, oh, I didn't know you had a dog. What kind of dog do you have? And my dog passed away in 2023, and it was something that I talked about online, but not everybody sees everything. So of course, you know, people have questions when I say things like that. And I think for me, since I posted that author day in the life and just got so many comments of like, I didn't know you wrote books, and people coming up to me in real life being like, I know you, like I go out with you, I've gone to dinner with you, I didn't know you were an author. I'm like, why do I not talk about that? as much as I talk about so many other things, because it's something that I'm extremely proud of. I do have a second YouTube channel where I do talk more about books. I do book reviews and book hauls. I do reading vlogs. I do have a book club that I've started. We just picked a new book for the months of May and June. And so if you want to join book club, I always have the link to the Fable app below. It's just a free app that you can download, and then you can chat about the book with everybody else on the app. I feel like over there, I guess I kind of feel a little bit less like put into the beauty box, if that makes sense. And this is something that I've struggled with for a long time, and it's something that I've talked about for a long time, of kind of feeling like every time I try to stray away from beauty, I get like the, no, like you can't, like you have to talk about beauty, like you have, like this is why I follow you, this is why I come back to your channel, and I'm like, I feel like I can't stray too far away from beauty content, especially on this channel. So that's why I decided to create a whole separate channel to talk about books, to talk about healthy living and that sort of thing, and then I can keep this one more beauty focused. But you know, it just kind of goes back to like, I'm not sure why I feel like I kind of keep that part of me a little bit quieter online, because also online is like having an online community is also like my readership, you know. And my books really started to do well as my social media community started to grow. And that's definitely something that I've noticed through the years as well. So it's like, obviously I use social media as a marketing tool as well as the things that I do behind the scenes and that are a little bit more, you know, quote unquote traditional marketing for books. But I definitely also leverage social media. And as I get on the, you know, the book is still being written and all of those things, but as we get closer to having a release for it, of course you have like a marketing plan in place, and that marketing plan does include social media. And I'm like, wow, I'm just gonna like come on my channel one day and be like, hey guys, I released a book, and people here and on Instagram are gonna be like, huh? Your first book? You write books? You like books? You read? And I was like, I'm gonna confuse a lot of people. But I thought, since I'm still in Snoqualmie Falls, and you know, one of the main reasons that I came up here was to work on my book, that I could just share a little bit about it. And I'm also staying at the most beautiful lodge. And I think you'll probably see some clips in the beginning of like what I've been able to experience out here, but like there's a reason why I extended my trip, because this place is just, I can't believe I'm staying here. So where I'm staying at is called the Salish Lodge, I believe is how you pronounce it. And again, we're in Snoqualmie Falls, so flew into the Seattle airport, and then got here pretty early. We left Vegas at 6:45 a.m. So when we got here, went to, you know, Pike's Place Pike's Place, walked around like the outside market for a while, got a few things to eat and drink. Then we did do a rental car so we could drive up here, since again, I think it was about a 45-minute drive, but don't quote me, but about a 45-minute drive from the Seattle area. And it's so pretty. Like the Pacific Northwest is just such a pretty area. All the trees, all the greenery. It is cold, especially coming from Las Vegas. It's only been like in the 50s here. Like I think we cracked maybe like 60 the one day, but it's been pretty chilly, especially since I'm coming from, you know, it's already 90. We've already seen 100 degrees in Las Vegas. So I'm like, whoo, you know, packed a little bit warmer for this trip. Sweatshirts. I forgot my beanie. I was so upset with myself. I hate when I forget my beanie. But like just so beautiful, right? And then we get to the Salish Lodge, and the main like focal point is Snoqualmie Falls. And when we got to our room and walked in, we have this little balcony, and you can go out on the balcony. There's like this little fire pit and everything. But then when you look over the edge, you see Snoqualmie Falls. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it looks beautiful. But it's really just, I'm seeing like one tiny section of it and from the top. And I'm already like blown away. Right next to the lodge is where you can actually go down and you can view it. The whole park is there. People hike it. You can go down to the river. They have all these different viewing points. And when I actually saw the waterfall, I was like, this is so beautiful. It instantly gave me like Iceland vibes. I went to Iceland last year, and it was just one of my favorite, it was one of my favorite trips. And just being able to see these beautiful, like majestic waterfalls in person was such a crazy experience. And so then I see the Snoqualmie Falls, and I just got like transported back to that time. And I just, like, seeing them, I just sat there so quietly and watched for like probably a solid, like, I'm gonna say 3 minutes, which is kind of a long time to just sit in silence and like watch water. But it just was such a peaceful moment. And I love, like, I have the door closed right now because you would not be able to hear me, but I'm filming right in front of the balcony door. And we have slept with the door open every single night because you can just hear it. Like, we have the screen door on it, but like you can hear the falls from it. There's a little fire pit outside, and you can call and ask them to light it anytime, or they come by at like 8 p.m. and light it automatically. You can order s'mores. Okay, of course I did that. It was $36, but that's fine. That's fine. $36, but it got, like, I had 2 s'mores every single night that I was here, and I was here for what, 3 nights? Like, okay, sign me up. So it's just been so wonderful and peaceful and calming. And listen, I love Las Vegas. If you don't know, I moved to Las Vegas 4 years ago from Iowa, and I love Las Vegas. I think it's such a great city. It's so fun to live in. There's so much to do, or you don't have to do anything at all. I've met some of my favorite people in Las Vegas. I've gotten really cool opportunities while living there, but sometimes it is nice to escape it for a little bit, even though, like, I live in the suburbs of Vegas, so like where I live is pretty quiet, right? Like, I walk by a school every single day, like all the school bus, see all the kids every morning, hey, what's up? Like, I can see the Strip from my apartment, I can see the Sphere, I can see all of those things, but I can't like hear it. I'm not super close to it. And so I really love my location because it's like I'm there and I'm like close enough to the airport, I'm close enough to the Strip, but I'm not there, I'm not in it, I'm not in the hubbub, because I'm definitely more of a homebody. I'm more of an introvert. I like my quiet time, my alone time, and all of those things. But I truly love living in Las Vegas, but sometimes it's so nice to be able to do a trip like this and just kind of the quiet, the small town, the everything is just, it's just, you know, something so different, right? So I really wanted to come out here to be able to spend a few days away and away from everything else that I do and really put some focus into my book. So like I said, I'm writing the 6th Nora, and she is the 5th book in a 6-part series. So definitely my readers have been like, hello, Samantha, where's your next book? When's it coming out? When can we expect Nora? Because at the end of each book in the series, you get the prologue of the next book. So you kind of know what's going on with that character. So the 6th series, there's 4 books already published. So the order is Christy, Scarlett, then Lauren, then Breely. All of my books are available on Amazon, also Audible. They are also available on my website, which is BySamanthaMarch.com. And on my website, I can actually do signed copies if that's something that you're interested in. On Amazon, you know, Amazon ships them out to you. But if you want a signed copy, you can get those on my website. I do also include a free bookmark, and it's like a little makeup beauty themed bookmark. I include those in any order with my books. And then I just want to do like something simple but like sparkly. I think I'm going to go with the translucent shade for today, and I'm literally just using my finger again. We're going to the airport, but you know, we're gonna have fun with it at the airport today. But like I was saying, you can get them on the website, and then there's also the free bookmark for the month of May. I am also running, I talked about this in my last in one of my previous videos. I think it was my like summer essentials. But I'm also doing a promo with Aversial Wellness, which is my brand that I use for functional mushrooms like cordyceps and lion's mane. And you also, with any order, so you get a free bookmark with any order with any of my novels. So if you just order like the procrastination deck or gratitude journal, that doesn't include the bookmark. It is if you order any of the novels from my website. But then also in the month of May, any orders, books, anything else, does also come with a free mushroom blend. It's a 3 mushroom blend. So it has turkey tail, cordyceps, and also lion's mane. So that is where you can get my books. I know I always get asked if they're available in audiobooks as well, and they are also available on Audible. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot that I had a hot chocolate. That's so silly of me. I'm also sitting on a pillow. Things we do to try to make a professional looking YouTube video, but there's that. But for the series, so when I kicked off with Christy, she was my 6th novel. So my other novels, my first one is Destined to Fail. That was followed by The Green Ticket. Both of those books follow more college-age students in Iowa. Wrote them at the time I was a college-age student in Iowa. They're not like my life, but definitely was writing kind of like what I know. My third book, A Questionable Friendship, was my first Amazon bestseller, which was really exciting to me because that was the time that I felt a little bit more confident in my writing. Had a pretty established team around me at that point, like editors, my beta readers, you know, cover designer, like all of those things. And that was my first time that I wrote a book in a dual POV. So that was really exciting to me, and I felt like I really pushed myself creatively. It was set in Maine, a place where I had never been, so I had to do a lot of research on Maine, the setting, the food, the language, all of those different things. My fourth book is called Up to I Do. It's about a girl who gets married. Wrote it around the time that I got married. Again, it's not my wedding at all. It's like literally like a socialite getting married, but it was very fun, very chick lit, very lighthearted. My fifth book was Defining Her. This is the darkest novel that I have written. It was my first one that I had to put a warning label on Amazon for it. But again, this is a dual POV as well, following two women and how their lives kind of intersect. And then my sixth novel is when I kicked off the 6 series. And I would suggest my other novels can be read as a standalone. For the series, I would suggest reading them in order: Christy, Scarlet, Lauren, Breely, and then Nora will be next. The 6th book will be Tinsley. I know a lot of people are very curious to learn about Tinsley, and I am very excited to write a Tinsley story, but I've also really had so much fun writing Nora's book, because in each book we just follow the girlfriend, right? So in Christy we kind of meet the whole group, but we're really getting Christy's point of view, and you know, her love life is kind of a mess. And she also has some different things going on at her job. She's an elementary school guidance counselor, and we have a whole plot line focused on that. And then we move into the other books and the other girls. I don't want to give too much away, of course, because like I said, I do suggest reading them in order. But then you follow all of the other girls and everything that they are going through with their love lives, their friendships, their careers, just everything that they have going on. Nora has been so fun to write, but she has also taken me a very long time because we had a lot of things happen in between the time that I published the 6th Breely and starting to write Nora, including my apartment was broken into. I had to move pretty suddenly. I still have pretty, I'm going to say severe PTSD from that night. It's something I haven't talked a ton about online. I mention it here and there, but it's something I haven't really gone into detail about a lot because it's still something that it was a very traumatic situation for me. My dog, before my apartment was broken into, my dog was diagnosed with cancer, and she was my soul dog, you know. If you guys were around the time when Aries was with me, she would literally sit on a chair behind me when I would film videos. Like, we were so close. We did literally everything together. So when she was diagnosed in May of 2023, I obviously basically stopped pretty much anything, stopped writing, you know, just really focused on that time and had those 5 months with her, and you know, that was great. But also during that time is when I got robbed. I had to move. She died 2 weeks after I moved into the new apartment, so that was really hard. And then I just I don't think it's any secret that I struggled a lot after her death. I spent 2024 basically running away from grieving her. I took 19 trips in 2024. I went to Ireland for 2 weeks. I went to Iceland. I went to Greece. I went to Italy. I went to Nashville. I went to Portland. I went to Austin. Like, I was all over the place. I basically just didn't want to be at my apartment, even though it wasn't the same apartment that I was that I had been broken into. It was within the same community. I didn't feel very safe. It was the apartment my dog died in. I just didn't want to be there, right? And as I get ready for another move, I'm glad to be moving on from that chapter of my life for sure. So, you know, things to look forward to, definitely. I think I'm going to skip, a lot of times I do like winged liner, but again, this is a very casual airport look, so I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna do my Tarte tubing mascara. It's gonna be a long day. I'm not gonna be able to like touch up a lot, and I know that this one won't really move on me, so that'll be good. But like I was saying, a lot of things personally happened, and I know that like professionally I let a lot of things slide. I let a lot of things slide with YouTube. I let a lot of things slide with my books, and it was just a time where I was just trying to make it through each day. I mean, to be honest, like, I don't want to get too sad, but you know, when Aries was battling cancer, there were days like I just wouldn't get out of bed at all. I would just lay in bed with her, and there was definitely a point where I could just tell, right? Soul dog. But I could just tell Aries was looking at me like, bitch, you gotta get up. What are you doing? And I was really glad that I felt that like kick in the pants from Aries, and, you know, was really able to enjoy our time together. After that like initial shock, that I was able to like make good memories with Aries and not just all sad ones at the end. But again, I was trying not to like be super sad in this video, but also wanted to explain and also take ownership of the fact that like there's a lot, people go through hard things all the time. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not the only person who's lost a pet. I'm not the only person who, you know, unfortunately has been robbed. Like, I'm not the only person that has gone through health things. Like, I'm not the only person that have dealt with hard times. And other people get up and they go to their job every single day. They do their work every single day. They take care of their family every single day. Like, I do also take ownership of the fact that like I fell apart for a hot minute, right? So I don't want to like have these things be necessarily like excuses of why I wasn't writing the book, but because at the same time I was also still writing Nora. Nora basically is where I'm at now, is she's getting a full rewrite, because I had most of the book done and I was working with an editor at the time, and like I also was sending it to like my early readers and some of my close friends, and everybody's feedback was like, Samantha, this is not it. Like, and I think it just, I had such a hard time, and I think it's something that I need to work on better professionally as an author, is not letting outside distractions influence my writing, because Nora's story was so dark the way that I wrote it. When I wrote Defining Her, the book that I said is the darkest book that I've written, I was in a very dark place and time in my life when I wrote that book. And that is reflected in my writing. And I felt like the same thing was happening with Nora, and that is not at all where I had Nora's story going. Not at all. Like, the whole 6 series is very lighthearted. It is chick lit. It is glimpses into these women's lives. Like, not that everything is super happy-go-lucky. I mean, when you read Christy's story, you know right away one of the main focal points of the entire series, the friendship between Scarlett and Tinsley and what's happening. And so it's not like it's just like, oh, lighthearted. There's a lot of depth to each of the storylines as well, even in Christy and her job as the guidance counselor and what's going on there, which that is actually a true story of my life. Again, I don't always write my true life into books, but there are certain instances in my life that have had such a pivotal moment on me that I have been able to write into my stories. And, you know, that one is a pretty intense scene from Christy that gets written right away. But still, at the whole of it, it's a series about girlfriends who love each other, who support each other, who are going through things together. And it's supposed to be a fun series at the end of the day. And the way that I initially wrote Nora was just not at all what I had planned for her. And so when I'm getting the feedback from people of like, I don't know about this one, Samantha. I mean, I think it's so important to not have yes people in your corner. And I'm so grateful that I don't. I'm so grateful that I have, you know, good people around me to be like, yeah, I don't think that this is it. And I mean, even though sometimes hearing feedback like that hurts, and obviously things like getting like bad reviews, like sure, of course, like stuff like that hurts. But at the end of the day, I want to be putting out books that I'm really proud of, and that, you know, especially because this book is a series and I've been working with the same team throughout this whole time. And Christy, what year did Christy publish? 16, 17? I've been working with the same team for so long. They know the series, they know the characters, they know where I want to go. They, you know, I've talked about the series, I've talked about every single book. You know, it's not like I'm just writing a series and I'm like, let's just see what happens. Like every character, I've known what is going on with every character, because all of that is getting built up starting from book 1. Starting from Christy, you're already getting little hints about what's going on in Lauren's book. You're already getting little hints of like maybe what could be happening when Nora's book is coming out. All of the characters are planned and ready to go, right? Sure, there's some things that pop up here and there that I'm like, oh, like maybe didn't expect that to happen, or, you know, like I'm gonna throw a curveball over here, that sort of thing. But for the most part, all of these characters are planned. So for my team to be like, hey, this is not where you are having Nora's story go. Like, is this really what you want to do? I was like, you know what? I wrote that book in too dark of a headspace. I need to get out of it. I need to get better. I need to be able to refocus and write Nora the way that I initially wanted to write her. And I am so much happier. And it's not like I have to just throw away the whole book that I wrote, right? There's still scenes that I can use. There's descriptors that I can use. There's, you know, when the friends are together talking about certain things, all of those things I can still use, right? It's not like every single word that I wrote is just done for. But I am going back and I am rewriting it, and I am making it, like, honestly, the last couple of days being up here and just getting into a writing groove, I was just so on fire last night. Like, I did not want to stop writing. And I just kept texting my friends, giving them my word count updates. And then even when I finally made myself go to bed at 11 o'clock, I woke up this morning and the first thing I did was go sit back down at the desk and start writing again. Because it just feels like it's coming to me so much more naturally now than when I was trying to push it when I was not doing the best. And that to me is such an exciting feeling. I'm excited all over again to get this book to my editor, to get this book to my early readers, and to just get this book published. I'm determined to have it out in 2025. And you know, sometimes the timeline, especially when it comes to like marketing and those sort of things, there's a lot that goes into publishing a book. If you have any like specific book questions on being an author, maybe that's something that I could do for my second channel. If you have questions on the publishing process, how it works, I will say I am a self-published author. I have worked for publishing companies in the past. I've owned my own marketing company. I've been a certified editor. I used to do book editing for a lot of authors. I've worked in book marketing. I used to own my own book marketing company, and I also used to own my own publishing company. So I used to publish for about 5 other authors as well as myself. I have dabbled into the world of traditional publishing, but it's never really been for me, because I have felt every time I've had a traditional publisher reach out and want to work with me, it's just felt too stifling. It's felt like too many things that I wouldn't want to put into my book, it's really, I just didn't feel like I had enough creative control over my books, and it just didn't seem worth it to me. Because the reason why I write books is because I love creating things. It's the reason why I make YouTube videos and why I make content on Instagram. Creating something from nothing is one of the coolest feelings like ever to me. And I love that I get to do that with my characters. So when I have someone else saying like, they need to do this, now you need to introduce that, now you have to have this plot line, I'm like, it just doesn't feel like my story anymore. But I do have experience with that. I've done consulting. Like, I come from the book world. I don't come from the beauty world. I come from the book world. And so I have worn a lot of hats in this career. I've worked in this career for a very long time. I was published before I ever went, you know, full-time in social media and that sort of thing. When I'm out and about and people ask me what I do, I introduce myself as an author. I don't introduce myself as a content creator. I don't introduce myself as a YouTuber. I don't introduce myself under the beauty guise. I introduce myself as an author of women's fiction. So if you want a video, if you have questions or want to hear more about that, maybe that's something that I could do on my second channel. And maybe that would be interesting for some people to learn about, and I would be happy to do that or answer questions. That'd be so fun. I'm really proud of my work. I'm proud of my books. I'm proud of the characters that I have created. I'm proud of the feedback that I get from readers. For me, you know, I always say, like, I was just, you know, talking to someone the other day about being an author, because I didn't know until my Instagram post. And I always say that I feel like books saved my life. The Babysitter's Club, Sweet Valley High, I feel like those books saved my life. You know, having a bit of a, you know, rougher childhood and those sort of things, those books really I feel like kept me like on the straight and narrow. And I'm so thankful to them. If you guys don't know The Babysitter's Club, it was written by the author Ann M. Martin. And the first book is Christy's Great Idea. And Christy Thomas is the main, you know, the person who has the idea to start the Babysitter's Club with her friends, right? So when I always wanted to publish a series about girlfriends, because that book to me, you know, these young girls just thought was like such a cool concept, right? I've always been really fascinated by that. And so as I got older, I thought I really want to write a book about girlfriends as well. Kind of like the Babysitter's Club, but they're grown now, right? And so when I set out to publish the 6 and I was, you know, plotting all of the characters, we start off with the 6 Christy. And the character's full name is Christy Martin. It's Christy and Anna Martin. And it's my homage to the Babysitter's Club. It's my salute to Anna Martin. Thank you for writing this series. Thank you for inspiring me all of these years later, now as someone who is in her 30s. I still think about the Babysitter's Club. I still think about those books. I still think about what they meant to me as a young girl reading them. So as an author, there is no better praise that I can receive when someone emails me to say, like, this book really spoke to me. This book encouraged me to try something new. This book encouraged me to start over. This book encouraged me to find my voice. Those are really just some of the best messages that I could ever receive. And I'm really proud of all of my books. And again, coming out here and just kind of being able to get into this different zone has been truly such a fabulous experience for me. I was talking with my girlfriend today. One of my closest girlfriends' name is Ashley, and I was messaging with her, and she said, "Are you ready to come home?" Today is Wednesday. I've been here since Sunday. And like I said, I extended my trip and everything, and she said, "Are you ready to come home?" I said, "Honestly, no." I said, "I could stay here for a few more days." I just feel really in the zone. I feel so productive. I'm so happy with what I've written, and it just makes me so excited to release Nora's story. I will definitely be talking more about Nora and the writing process. It's something that I really want to utilize. Like, I really feel, again, that I have not leveraged social media to talk about my novels, promote them, share about the writing process, any of that. Like, I really haven't done that for any of the past ones. Like, of course, I always talk about them. Like, when I launch a book, I'll like mention it in a YouTube video, but I've been seeing all these really fun vlogs recently of like lifestyle content creators and like a day in their life and what they're doing. And I'm like, I really want to share more about my books and what this process looks like. And, you know, being able to come up here into this beautiful location at the Salish Lodge and to be able to sit outside and listen to the waterfalls and hike every single morning and then come back and write the story that I am so excited to share with you. So excited to share Nora's story with you. So if you have anything in particular that you want to, you know, see me share about along this way, please just let me know. Again, I know this is a beauty channel. We're getting ready today in the hotel room and all of those things. I'll keep most of the book content to my second channel, to my Instagram, to my TikTok. If you don't follow me over there, you know, I share a little bit more variety of my life over on those platforms. So I hope that you will follow me along. I'm March Beauty Word on Instagram and by Samantha March on TikTok. And then with my second YouTube channel too. But I'm so excited. I can't wait. Cannot wait. I cannot wait to share the cover of Nora. I cannot wait to share and just see what people think of her story. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous too, but we can get into that in a different video. But for my lip combo, this is what my go-to has been during my time in Seattle and Snoqualmie Falls. I'm starting off with the Makeup Forever Wherever Walnut Lip Liner. And then I just topped that with the Chapter Gloss. This is one of my glosses that I released with Ofra Cosmetics. And I guess it is kind of, I didn't think about it because this is really just the gloss that I've been wearing all week. But it's one of my favorites, of course. I created it. I created the shade. I came out with a collaboration with Ofra Cosmetics recently with 3 glosses. They are called Next Chapter Fam because I also worked on them with 2 of my best friends who I consider family, Ashley and also Katie. And we each kind of had like a shade that we were working on that kind of represents us. and Chapter is mine, and I named it Chapter because it's a nod to my life as an author. I also released a liquid lipstick with Ofra Cosmetics, and it's called Story, and so I really wanted to create a gloss because I launched that at a time where I loved liquid lipsticks, and then this gloss I launched because I love glosses now, and I wanted to name it Chapter, and I just love this mauve shade. Again, the Seattle airport. Ooh, I usually fly. Like when we came out here, I had absolutely no makeup on my 6:45 a.m. flight out of Las Vegas. But we are returning to Sin City all glammed up. But after that, that is going to do it for this get ready with me, my little airport get ready with me, my Snoqualmie Falls get ready with me, my author get ready with me, whatever you want to call this. And I hope that you enjoyed the look. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about the behind the scenes of what life looks like as an author. Again, all of my books are on Amazon, Audible, by SamanthaMarch.com. I would definitely love to know if you've read any of my books or if there's any that you're interested in reading, and stay tuned for more Nora updates as we get closer to her launch date. Thank you all so much for your support, especially on my books. It means so much to me. It means so much to me. I just fell in love with reading at such a young age, and to now to be able to say that this year I'm going to publish my 10th novel is just an indescribable feeling. So thank you for your support. I hope you enjoy hearing more about my author journey, and I'll get to the next one.